Presented by Cursed by the Witch. Warning, use headphones before listening to horror podcast story.
The Last Candle in the Dark is a chilling horror tale of isolation, fear, and supernatural dread. It follows Martha Dunney, a recently widowed woman in her 60s who moves to the isolated Dunlow House, a family property she inherited deep in the woodlands of New England. The house, known locally as the Darkwood Mansion, holds a mysterious reputation, with local tales of strange noises and ghostly lights seen flickering inside at night. Martha, ignoring the warnings, decides to live there, seeking peace but soon discovering that the mansion holds secrets too sinister for anyone to ignore. Part 1. The lonely move-in. After her husband's sudden death, Martha feels lost and haunted by grief. Seeking solace, she decides to leave her bustling city life for the quiet, secluded Dunlow House, her late family estate. When Martha arrives, the air feels heavy with a strange coldness. The mansion is grand yet decrepit, as if time itself had been drained from the walls. She notices that none of the lights seem to function, so she must rely on the many antique candles left behind by the previous owners. One candle, in particular, catches her eye, a large, black candle with intricate carvings on its side, placed on a dusty windowsill in the library. A local villager, Henry Pritchard, helps her with her belongings and warns her of Dunlow House's reputation. The villagers avoid the mansion, especially after dark, claiming it was cursed by its last inhabitants. They speak of the candle that guards the dark, a cryptic reference Martha doesn't take seriously. Henry leaves her with a grave warning: light the black candle at night, and never let it go out. Part 2. Shadows and Secrets. On her first night in the mansion, Martha is kept awake by eerie, unsettling noises, soft creaks in the floorboards, whispers that sound like they're coming from within the walls, and a rhythmic tapping she can't identify. Nervous, she decides to explore the mansion's dark hallways with only the black candle to light her way. Shadows seem to stretch and bend around her, and she notices strange symbols carved into the walls, their shapes twisted and incomprehensible. The mansion seems almost alive, as if observing her every movement. In the days that follow, Martha learns unsettling truths about her family's history. She finds old journals and documents in the library, revealing that her ancestors were involved in dark rituals to commune with the dead. The candle, according to the journals, is a barrier between the living and the spirits trapped within the mansion's walls. Each night she lights the black candle, the whispers fade, and the shadows retreat. But one night, exhausted and skeptical, she decides to ignore the ritual, allowing the candle to remain unlit. Part 3. A World Without Light. That night, a suffocating darkness fills the mansion. Martha wakes to find her bedroom door ajar, and shadows linger just outside, twisting and curling, as if waiting for her. She hears footsteps in the hallway, slow and deliberate, moving closer. Panic-stricken, she reaches for the candle and lights it with trembling hands. Instantly, the shadows recede, but she knows they are only waiting, lurking in the dark, waiting for her to slip up again. Martha becomes obsessed with keeping the candle lit. She learns from the journals that Dunlow House is a prison for tormented souls, bound to the mansion after dark to feed on the living. The candle was created as a ward, meant to protect her lineage from the vengeful spirits. However, it requires the presence of a blood descendant to maintain its power. As the nights go on, Martha realizes that she must keep the candle burning indefinitely if she wishes to survive. Her sense of time warps as her world narrows to the flickering light of the candle, her only refuge from the ever-hungry shadows. Part 4. Visions of the Past. Martha begins experiencing vivid hallucinations, glimpses of the mansion's horrifying past. She sees her ancestors performing rituals in darkened rooms, summoning spirits through the candle's flame. The visions show tormented souls, pleading for escape, and she feels the pull of their agony, drawing her closer to the darkness with each passing day. The candle's light dims over time, its strength waning, and she realizes that her family must have used sacrifices to keep the flame alive. Desperate, Martha tries to leave the mansion, but she finds herself disoriented in the sprawling corridors, each hallway seeming to lead her back to the candle. No matter which door she opens, she is led back to the center of the library, the black candle standing ominously at its center. Henry visits one day to check on her, and seeing her fragile, haunted state, he tells her the truth, that the candle cannot be extinguished as long as the mansion has a living resident. Part 5. The Final Descent. In the following days, Martha's appearance begins to change, her face becoming gaunt, her eyes shadowed. The candle's light weakens, flickering as if struggling to maintain its protection. Martha knows that the darkness is closing in and that she must make a final choice. As the candle's flame grows dimmer, the shadows seem to grow bolder, stretching closer to her with every flicker. In a last, desperate act, Martha lights every candle in the house, hoping the combined flames will stave off the spirits. She finds herself drawn to the attic, where she uncovers a hidden altar surrounded by faded family portraits, each face twisted in silent agony. In the center of the altar, she finds an ancient dagger and realizes that the blood of the living is what keeps the candle's light strong. Knowing she must offer something in exchange to escape, Martha hesitates, but the shadows close in, leaving her no choice. Epilogue: The Final Flame. Years later, the mansion remains empty, its halls silent and abandoned. Villagers passing by at night claim to see a faint light flickering from within, a single candle in the window, its flame undying. Some say Martha's soul became one with the candle, her spirit bound to protect Dunlow House from the darkness she could never escape. To this day, the black candle burns, a solitary sentinel in the dark, guarding the mansion and its cursed legacy, ensuring that the spirits within remain forever imprisoned in shadows. The locals now tell stories of the last candle in the dark, a flame that holds the tortured souls of the past and guards against the darkness that once consumed them.
Thank you for watching. Just like and subscribe.